Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Ian Bin's bringing this up. Okay, Egypt and India have now abandoned the US dollar completely, or at least they plan to. Egypt, India abandon the US dollar. Here's what's going on, guys. This is a strategic alignment with the BRICS bloc's de-dollarization efforts. They have initiated discussions to eliminate the US dollar from their trading relations. So these two countries, respectively, specifically, they are planning on removing the US dollar from their particular trading agreement. So this bold move is a part of a growing trend amongst the BRICS nations to reduce dependence on the US dollar in international trade, and it signifies a significant shift in the global economic landscape. So it sounds as though they want to integrate different strategies here. The decision by Egypt and India to bypass the US dollar in their trading activities marks a crucial step in the BRICS bloc's wider strategy. Egypt's engagement in the initiative follows its invitation to join BRICS back in 2023. At their summit. The inclusion is more than just a formal membership. It's an entry into a collective effort to reshape how global trade is conducted. Now, if that is not a statement, I don't know what is. You know, this organization, they are very steadfast on, deciding to conduct trade in a more fair way that removes the US dollar, obviously, as a world reserve currency, moving away from that, old system, the central banking system. So I can see now, right, how I can see how a lot of these countries, over the years have probably gotten very frustrated that, their currency is not as powerful as the US dollar. And, they have been shortchanged in a lot of these cases when it comes to global trade. So now what they're doing, they're going to, whether it is, in and amongst the entire BRICS organization or even just bilaterally between two different countries, we are seeing more of this occur now, and this is just another indication of how we're going to see US dollar dominance reduce globally in the coming years and how this is going to continue to reduce over the coming years. So I wanted to thank Ian Binns for posting that. We also got this, guys. The Bitcoin ETF approval is nearing, but brace for more setbacks. So we got a lot of interesting news here revolving around Bitcoin specifically. If you guys didn't catch this morning's video, I did talk a little bit about Francis Hunt and the hollowing out. What the powers that be want to do to the middle class, the retail class, because they don't want them to get rich during this next bull run. And if you guys didn't catch that video, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. Well, Mike Belshi, CEO of cryptocurrency exchange BitGo, he suggested that all indications are leaning towards a favorable outcome for a spot Bitcoin ETF. However, he emphasized that the journey ahead won't be without its challenges. So chances are, guys, we will get a Bitcoin ETF, but here's the catch, okay? In an interview with Bloomberg on November the 16th, Belchi explained that based on discussions between firms seeking Bitcoin ETF approval, he holds an optimistic view that the approval will be imminent. However, he pointed out that improving the market structure is a must before the SEC grants ultimate approval of a Bitcoin ETF. So SEC still has their hangups. Here's a quote. I think it's quite likely we have another round of ETF rejections before we get positive news. Belshi reiterated the SEC's stance on separating crypto exchanges from custodians, emphasizing that this condition must be addressed before approval. Furthermore, he referenced Sam Bankman-Fried, the former CEO of FTX, claiming that he was trying to make FTX a multifaceted operation. 15 months ago, we had Sam Bankman-Fried marching all over Washington, D.C., advocating his 7 key points for regulations. He basically said, let me take on all these functions. It is going to be great. It is going to be efficient. And sure enough, we saw how that ended. So this follows reports indicating that the excitement surrounding the potential approval of a Bitcoin ETF led to a significant surge in fees on the Bitcoin blockchain. So, it doesn't come without its challenges, of course, because the Bitcoin blockchain is so antiquated. We're still racking up huge fees for transactions. So, this is going to have a lot of different implications on different sectors of the financial market, especially if we see this as an exchange traded fund. You got to think to yourself, if big money is going to be pouring into these ETFs, what is that going to mean? How does that trickle down? What is that going to mean to Bitcoin spot price? And then the fees associated with all those transactions on the network. So an interesting point of view here from Mike Belshi. On top of that, we recently got this news, and it might not seem like that big of a deal in the West or wherever, but Javier Milei has won the Argentinian presidency. Bitcoin did gain 3%. Now, this guy, pro-Bitcoin, and he is the new president of Argentina, the self-described anarcho-capitalist, has been supportive of Bitcoin, calling it the return of money to its original creator, the private sector. And guys, he is going to make some massive, massive changes. And so what is this going to mean for the crypto space? The next president of Argentina will be Javier Milei, as his opponent Sergio Massa conceded on Sunday. With roughly 80% of the votes counted, Milei has 56% of the tally versus Massa's 44%. Trading quietly throughout most of the weekend, Bitcoin began rising late on Sunday on chatter about a strong showing for Milei. Following Massa's concession, the cryptocurrency is currently higher by nearly 3%. So going back to why we saw a Bitcoin pump yesterday, a bit of a Bitcoin pump at least. Right now, as of the time of this recording, we're trading at about $37,000. But when we saw this pump 3%, it was on this news here specifically. The new president of Argentina. Here's a quote. "We have to understand that central banks are a scam." Okay, this is from Milei himself. He said this earlier this year when asked about Bitcoin. "What Bitcoin is representing," he continued, "is the return of money to its original creator, the private sector." Milei, to his point, however, has not gone as far as proposing making Bitcoin legal tender. He instead called to eliminate the country's central bank and dollarizing an Argentinian economy that's been walloped by inflation that reached 142% in October. So, these new politicians, they want to fight back against inflation. The Argentinian peso is one of those currencies, those fiat currencies that has really been decimated. So how is this going to have an effect, guys? Well, Argentina might in fact use XRP, and I'm going to tell you why in a second here. Okay, so Bitcoin Archive pointed this out, Argentina's presidential candidate. So central banks are a scam. Here's basically him talking about the fact that, basically it's Bitcoin, freedom of money. And so this interview is not in English, so I'm going to read the subtitles for you guys. Bitcoin, people talk about Bitcoins in the media all the time. We don't know how Bitcoin works, but there are people that say that could be a monetary alternative. Do you believe that it is possible to discuss it in Argentina? So that was what the interviewer was asking. So then Milei says, let's see, what is the point? The point is that the first thing we have to understand is that the central banks are a scam. It is a mechanism by which politicians cheat to the good people with the inflationary tax. What Bitcoin is representing is the return of money to its original creator, the private sector. Money is a private invention. In order to be used to solve problems, for example, in a bartering economy, the double coincidence of wants, yes, and indivisibility. So he's getting into some of the technicals here. Then paper money appears to solve probability. Actually, you had different currencies, linen, wheat, salt, where it came from, the world's salary. Hence comes the superstition that salt falls off the table, and then that was evolving in the currencies that the people chosen were. Okay, so he's going into some history there. The silver for small transactions and the gold for the bigger ones. Then because back then it was very dangerous to move the gold, people used to deposit the gold and get in exchange a receipt. And then in the year 1445, okay, so he's given us a bit of a history lesson here. In the first Genovese Congress, the states appropriated the exclusivity to issue the money. Okay. And so that's the legal tender, which is a key point because the legal tender allows to the politicians scam you with the inflationary tax. So he's given us a bit of his insight there. Bitcoin has an algorithm that one day it will reach a certain amount and there is no more. And then it can compete with other currencies. In fact, it competes with Ethereum and others right now. And what is the good thing? It's the return of private money. But what is the problem? The problem is that the government will not give up the legal tender. So that's obviously a problem because with the legal tender, they can scam you with the inflationary tax. The Bitcoin is the natural reaction against the central bank scammers. And to make the money private again, and the flip side is that the thieving politicians are not going to allow you to go against the legal tender. In economies with high inflation, the scam problem is bigger. That's why, as I suggest, you can propose to close the central bank. And that's it. So he has a pretty good understanding of Bitcoin, but doesn't say anywhere that he wants to make Bitcoin legal tender in Argentina, similar to what Nayib Bukele has done in El Salvador. He does understand one thing, though. Central banks are scammers. We should put the power in the hands of the people to transact on their own. And so I saw this and it actually made me laugh out loud. This is the new president of Argentina on some kind of talk show, some morning show. And this is what ended up transpiring. Watch this.
Ahí está. Es un piquetero. Ahí está. Ahí está. Atención, es el día de su cumpleaños.
Chicos, parece de quebracho.
Cuidado que va a romper.
Parece de quebracho.
Pará, que va a romper todo. Pará, Javier, pará. Correte, ayúdalo.
Chicos, el palo.
Cuidado, pará.
Correte.
Vení, que no entras. Ahí está. Tranquilo, con tranquilidad. Simple. Cuidado, chicos, córranse. Pará. No, pará, cuidado. No, cuidado. Pará, acá, ahí. Pará. Bueno, basta. Pará. Ahí está.
Listo.
Pará. Llévatelo, basta.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so that actually got me laughing out loud. Just the passion that he had for crushing the Banco Central Piñata is just hilarious. So clearly not a fan of the central banks. Michael Branch bringing this up. XRP can play a role in Argentina as president-elect plots a peso replacement. So for now, what's happening is this. Argentina has elected the pro-Bitcoin candidate Milei, who plans to replace the peso with the US dollar. You wouldn't think that he'd choose the US dollar because of its manipulation and overprinting. However, he wants to move away from the peso because of the overinflation problem. So some are saying, though, that this could involve XRP. There's a lot of speculation about Javier Milei's ascension, especially about his monetary reform and his plot to suspend the central bank. With his campaign posturing, there's a high likelihood that crypto will play a unique role in his presidency. So he's very crypto positive, very, very positive on Bitcoin, but is deciding to replace the Argentinian peso with, with XRP. Not with XRP, with the US dollar. Argentina is one of the countries that battles the most aggressive forms of inflation, currently pegged at this year, as we said, 143%. To avoid the pangs of the fiat fall, some citizens have turned to crypto. John Deaton gave his comment on that. They shared a Blockworks report from May that confirmed the support for XRP by Banco Galicia. So did you guys know this? Argentina's biggest private bank has added crypto trading, and they have included cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDC, and XRP, guys. And this happened last year, May 2022. So just some of the takeaways here. Banco Galicia, which is the largest private Argentinian bank, has moved to target young clients and highlights a global trend in crypto. Argentinians are increasingly using cryptocurrency to protect their savings against rampant inflation. And so now we have Javier Milei as the Argentinian president. Banco Galicia is utilizing XRP, or at least trading XRP, and Argentinians could face, through this transition, a period in time where they are actually able to use cryptocurrency for payments instead of their current fiat currency. So Banco Galicia added crypto trading to its investment banking platform with support provided for XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDC. It is worth noting, though, that Banco Galicia made the move before the court ruling that vindicated XRP as a non-security. Of course, in Argentina, it wouldn't have mattered. With Javier and potential pro-crypto policies on the horizon, we may see more financial institutions and trading platforms lending support to XRP across the board. Now, if you have a crypto-positive president, you have the country's largest bank already trading, the top 3 or top 4. I mean, they say here Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDC, and XRP. You look at what cryptocurrencies are in the top 5. Of course, the only one excluded there is BNB coin. And you have a country that is about to shift their monetary policy drastically. Well, what cryptocurrency does it make sense for these guys to be using for payments? Something that's easy, frictionless, inexpensive? Well, everything running on RippleNet, all signs pointing to XRP utilization. I mean, nobody's going to be using Bitcoin unless they use something like maybe the Spend the Bits wallet, which, in fact, does run on the XRPL anyway. I doubt they're going to be using Ethereum. And maybe they'll be using a stable coin. It is a hypothesis, just a theory at this point. I guess, one thing at a time. Let's crush that central bank.
Pará. Bueno, basta. Pará. Ahí está.
Listo.
Pará.
see how crypto adoption evolves in the country of Argentina. Anyway, that's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.